So welcome back to the second episode of the Coach's Corner here at Sage Media Solutions. This is Andre Johnson. I'm trying my hardest to defeat the bias against the Bronx allegations. You see where we're at? We're at John F. Kennedy with the 13-year head coach of the Knights, Coach Alex Vega. What's going on, man?
Hey, man, happy to be here, brother.
Listen, step by step, I'm trying to beat the allegations,
Hey,
man.
listen, man. I think there's a lot of good things in the Bronx and Manhattan. I think, I applaud you for making the effort to come out here and feature our program in your show, which I like and I follow. So thank you.
Really appreciate it. I
Yeah.
mean, first things first, of course, it's been a tough couple of months for the whole community here.
Mm-hmm.
Um, One of your players, your student athletes, your students, a friend,
Mm-hmm.
Christopher Redding,
Yeah.
passed away.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, just I know I'm sure it's tough to talk about this when
It's been difficult. Probably the hardest few months of my coaching career and as a teacher, as an educator. Not just his death, CJ's death didn't just impact, the football players, but also the teachers, the students in the building. And it's been hard, man. It's been difficult, and I, my heart aches for his family, his mother, his siblings, his stepdad. Um, it's been hard, man, and it's I think the challenge is still ahead of us when the season starts and we actually start playing games and he's not there. Our kids are, I think they're up for the challenge, and I think that we, as a program, we have the grit to survive something like this, but it's not easy, and I don't wish this on anybody. It's been tough.
I mean, we were just talking about it, off camera,
Hmm.
saying how much you coaches do, on the field,
Hmm.
off the field.
Hmm.
You guys aren't only leaders of men, but you're leaders of the community.
Yeah.
So when the community takes such a hit, how is it on you?
The day after, I got here, I got to the building at 7:30 in the morning, and I spent the entire day. So unfortunately, CJ passed away on a Wednesday. That Thursday morning and the entire Thursday, I spent it pretty much as a grief counselor, and 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 just consoling our boys and the students that knew him, because he was known in the entire building. He went to Bronx Law and Finance in the building, but he was known in all 7 schools, and the safety agents knew him, and everybody knew him. Everybody knew him, and it was hard, man, because I had to take time for me to grieve. You know what I mean? Like I needed time for myself to let it out. As men, sometimes we don't let things out. That incident right there. I couldn't not hold back. So I had to take time for myself, but also for my boys and be there for them and make sure that they were okay. And to say that they're okay now is it's not true. We're still grieving. All of us are still grieving, but you know, um, life goes on, and we're gonna dedicate this entire season to CJ. So whatever we do is everything for CJ this season.
When I was thinking about, preparing to talk to you guys about this, the first thing that went to my mind is just the young men, the athletes.
Yeah,
Of course, everything success is always tied to results.
yeah,
Of course, you guys are going to come out, you're going to do a circle in the middle of the field. You'll say, we're going to play this game for CJ.
yeah.
How do you, as a head coach and as a leader of men, how do you get them to understand that your tribute to CJ is not the result of the game?
Right. No, well, uh, since I've been coaching, I've always emphasized to my team that our true success is who they become once they leave us. That's our true success. It's not the wins and the losses. I've been coaching for 25 years, and to me, the most rewarding thing is when I get a young man or now grown man. I'm coaching some of the some of the sons of some of the guys that I coach are now coming out to play for us. And my biggest success, or our biggest success as a program, is who they become once they leave. Are they productive members of society? Are they successful? Are they good fathers? Are they good husbands? Are they good, brothers, uncles, whatever, And that's ultimately what our measure of success is. for our young men, when we say we're dedicating the season to CJ, you know, unfortunately, we will not get to see his potential.
Yeah.
What he could have became, what he was going to be. CJ had a lot of talent, but he also had a good personality, a great personality. He was a great human being, had a big heart. And to know CJ was to love CJ. And there's really nothing I could say to them to really get them ready. You know, it's something that we're gonna have to navigate as it comes. You know, I'm in uncharted territory right now. So I couldn't tell you, hey, I'm gonna say this is the magic elixir. Like I'm gonna say this, and it's gonna trigger something. I don't know. You know, I don't know. But I do know that we have resilient young men. We have a resilient coaching staff, a veteran coaching staff, and I think that we're gonna be fine eventually. But fine as far as football, but this is an ongoing situation dealing with the grief. You know.
Yeah, so from everyone at Sage Media Solutions and to his family, the community, rest in peace to CJ, Mr. Christopher Redding. You know, our deepest condolences. Yeah. So as long as I've known the PSAL,
Yep.
JFK has been in the top division, competing at the highest level.
Absolutely.
You know, so how has it been? You know, it's called the city, it's called the 4A, it's called this. JFK, it's in that top division.
Right.
How is it having that top level of competition every year in and year out?
We love it. I mean, if you're playing football, right, and you're coaching football, you're playing football, you're a competitor. You want to measure yourself against the very, very best, right? And I believe I don't believe in dropping divisions and moving down so that we could win and call ourselves champions. I believe there's only one city champion. That's the 4A champion. Everybody else, because of the way that the PSAL divvies up their divisions, it's based on how competitive you are, right? So if you can't cut it in the 4A, you get dropped down to the 3A. If you can't cut it in the 3A, you get dropped down to the 2A. There's an exception for the young programs, right? Like a new program, they should start in the lower division and then work their way up. But there's a lot of teams that over the years you've seen them, they come and go, they get dropped down, they come back up, they get dropped down. We've stayed consistent throughout. You know, and I think it's because of the pedigree that we have in this program. We've won 5 city championships here. The only school to win the Metro Bowl. I don't know if you're familiar with the Metro Bowl, Andre, but the Metro Bowl used to be, they used to do the Catholic champion versus the PSAL champion. And we won it ages ago, 84. But I believe we were the only public school to do it.
Wow.
We beat St. John the Baptist.
And that's lore. Wow.
I'm trying to tell you, man.
Where was the game played, you know?
The game, I don't remember. I know the people.
Long Island or New York City?
It might have been. I don't know.
Okay.
I have to look that up. But we won that game.
In the comments.
Yep. we won that game. And we're the only PSAL school to ever do that. So we're also like the only PSAL school to win the MSG Daily News Tri-State #1 team in the Tri-State. We won that in 1996. So there's a lot of pedigree in our program, and I believe that we have so much pride that we would not, no matter how bad things get around here, we're not gonna allow ourselves to drop down to the 3A, the 2A, or the 1A. You know, we have a lot of pride in our program.
Do you feel like the Bronx gets? Let's talk about the Bronx in general. Uptown football is called. You feel like you
Manhattan into that? Bronx, Manhattan.
Yeah, that's what I wanted to say. The North. That's what we're saying. The North.
All right, the North.
Do you think the North gets enough respect?
We get the respect that we deserve right now. I mean, if it feels disrespectful, it's because we haven't done anything. You know what I mean? Right now, let's look at the 4A division. There's only 2 Bronx teams in the 4A, us and Clinton.
Yeah.
Everybody else is playing in the 3A, 2A, 1A. So until we get more teams that come up to the 4A and compete at the 4A level, we're not going to get the respect. And until we beat some of the top teams, some of the top programs in the 4A, we're not going to get the respect. So respect is earned. You can't just ask for it. You can't politic about it. You know, you got to earn it. And I believe that when we have a team or 2 teams, like back in the day, if you came into the Bronx in the early 2000s, you was going to limp out of it. And whether it was us, whether it was Lehman was very good back then, Clinton, Columbus, Truman. It didn't matter. Like, we were physical in the Bronx, and you were going to come in here, you were going to take your licks and go back. to Staten Island, Brooklyn, wherever. It doesn't matter, right? But it hasn't been that way. Brooklyn and Staten Island have been dominating for a long time now, you know, and unfortunately for us, every time we're the only, well, there's 2 teams in the 4A, 2 Bronx teams. The PSAL never schedules us against each other than 2 years ago, right? And so every week we're traveling to Brooklyn. We're traveling to Staten. We have to do that every week, and so does Clinton.
Yeah.
We don't and we don't have close games where we have to travel 20 minutes and play a game, or we travel in hours every weekend to play a game.
4 p.m. kickoff on a Friday.
And the rest of the Bronx is where? They're in the 3A, they're in the 2A, they're in the 1A. So until all those teams that are playing in those levels step their game up and play a little bit better so that they can move up to the 4A, it is what it is. I don't have a problem with it. I'm more concerned about Kennedy getting the respect that we deserve, or that I feel like we should be getting, right? Like I said, I can't politic to get that respect. We have to prove it on the field, right? And it's every season and it's every game. So no one cares. You know, it is what it is, you know. And if people in the Bronx and the other schools in the Bronx feel disrespected, take it personal and get better. You know, that's it. Work harder. That's it. Work harder, get better.
No, I agree. And I think one of the things that people will say, fans and analysts, I don't know if I'm an analyst now, right?
Yep.
You know, we'll say that, you know, the wing T or the wing offense, you know, isn't an offense that can really win in 2026.
Okay.
At the highest level, let's say. So how do you react to that kind of criticism?
Everybody's entitled to their opinion. I think, like, we've proven that we can move the ball against anybody. Last season, the only team against Eho that ran the ball for 200 yards. So it's the only team. Guys, look it up. Look it up. We're the only team, you know, and we didn't win the game, so it doesn't matter. But we moved the ball against, I believe, that was the best defense in the PSAL. We ran for over 300 yards against Eagle 2. We moved the ball against Curtis. We moved the ball against everybody.
Literally.
Like everybody with the wing T. Why do we run wing T? Because it gives us a chance to compete against those teams that might have better athletes, right? If I just went spread, and we used to run spread, but when we went spread and we played those top teams, I'll give you an example. We would have 40 yards of total offense, depending on what year we played Eho or we played at the time Canarsie, when they had all the talent and everybody was transferring there. Like they had better athletes. So the spread offense relies more on your guy being better than their guy. I don't have that. I have to scheme 5 yards. I have to scheme a first down. We have to scheme a first down, right, with the wing T. And that's what it gives us. It gives us a chance to compete at the 4A, and I have to drop down to the 3A and the 2A and the 1A. So
No, I love the explanation, actually. And this is just a theory of mine. You know, you can shoot it down. I think that one thing that teams that run the wing T struggle with is scout offense. Now, we're going to talk about your quarterback, right? You have a damn good starting scout quarterback in Jeremiah Sinat.
Right.
But I feel like they can struggle in times replicating another team's offense, a quarterback. Of course, you're not going to have a Kendu Brown who can act like Kendu Brown on your team. But my theory is, you know, the secondary struggles in going up against the spread teams and stuff like that. Because you can't replicate it in practice.
Nah, I disagree. It all depends on if their guy's better than our guy. It doesn't matter. I'll give you an example. Last season, right? We're playing against Eagle 2.
Yeah.
Right? There was a pass that they threw to the young man, number 1. I don't know his name from
Juju.
Yes. Our corner was right there. Our free safety was right there. They covered it. The kid is 6'4". He jumped over both of them, took the ball. There's no, you know, I mean, I can't yell at my kids. They were where they were supposed to be. They just had a better athlete at that spot. And that's what the spread does. The spread is literally putting your best athletes in space against the defense and saying, my guy is better than your guy, right? As opposed to what I have to do and what some other teams have to do, where we have to scheme to be able to move the ball here and there. You know, there's no surprises with the spread. We know what's coming. You know, we call it out from the sideline. It doesn't matter. You know, if the kid is better, they're better. That's it, you know.
No.
Yeah.
I like that. It's a theory of mine, but I like where it's coming from.
Yeah.
It really comes down to athlete versus athlete.
It comes down to the Billies and the Joes, not the X's and the O's. So if you have the horses, more often than not, you know, a kid that's been playing. And here's another thing. There's another thing that comes into play. Experience, football experience, right? Our kids, 75% of my roster is in their second or third year playing football, period, overall, ever in their life, right? You look at it, some of the teams that we play, 95, maybe, and sometimes 100% of their roster been playing youth football, and kudos to those coaches because they recruit and they get those kids to come in. Unfortunately for us here, you know, we compete with the Catholic League, and they come and they take most of the youth coaches. They usher their kids to the Catholic League, and we get what we get, and we do a good job. I feel like we do a good job coaching our kids up, you know, getting them prepared to compete against elite level competition week in and week out. We're competitive, you know. Hopefully this year we take the next step and we beat some of those really good teams.
Yeah, and that's a great transition to recapping last season because I really loved your season because let's go all the way back to when the schedules came out in, I don't know, let's say April of 2025.
Was it April?
Whatever.
PSAL. That's a whole. I'm sorry. I'm about to go on a tangent.
Let's say April 2025, whenever that schedule came out.
June, yes. June.
Yep. Everybody looked at it. You're running through. You get to Kennedy, you said, wow.
Yeah.
Holy crap.
I loved it, and I wish we had it again. Here's why. Because, like I told you before, if you're playing football and you're a competitor, you want to measure yourself against the best teams, against the best coaches, right? And I thought that there was no weak landing spot in our schedule.
Absolutely.
At all. We played everybody that was any good. I believe we had the toughest schedule. Maybe
it's not really an argument, honestly.
Yeah, we had the toughest schedule. So, what it did for our program, though, is it gave our kids confidence that they can compete versus those athletes. If you see bad teams, and then all of a sudden you see an E-Hall, it's shock. It's a culture shock. But because we play E-Hall week 1, and then we play Lincoln week 2, and then we play Eagle 2 week 3, what else is there to see? Now when we play Curtis later in the year, we were not in awe of their speed because we had seen that speed already 3-4 times already. You know, even a Fort that just came up from the 3A to they were a solid team last season. They were a solid team. So was South Shore, great team. I mean, they had dudes, and we played everybody. So I wish we could play that schedule every season. I'm not saying that, you know, that should be every year, but it's good. It was good. I thought for us, for our program, it was good.
And the reason why I came out and said I loved your season was because you start off 0-3.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Tough place to be, right?
Yeah.
You know, you have to look at the kids, keep them motivated, say, listen, we have more games, we can make a run to the playoffs.
Right.
You know, you have a solid win, dominating win over Fort Hamilton.
Right.
And then you have 2 absolute thrillers versus Wagner, South Shore to make the playoffs.
Yeah,
you know, so
absolutely.
Just before we even get into that playoff game, which has its own segment, just talk about how it was to grind through that slow start and to push and make the playoffs at the end.
Unfortunately, our program last season, we lost 2 coaches, 2 veteran coaches, 2 great coaches. Stephen Cooper, who I met when I started coaching at Clinton in 2011. I coached at Clinton for 5 seasons.
Oh, wow.
Under Coach Howard Langley, my good friend, Coach Langley. And Coach Coop came over. When I came over to Kennedy, he came over with the staff. And unfortunately, he passed away on August 14th last season, right before we played A. Philip Randolph last season. So we lost him. We also lost my mentor, my coach, guy that coached me when I was here, Tyrone Murray. Tyrone Murray, I would argue, is more responsible for the championships that we have here, more so than Coach Horowitz. Because Coach Mo, he coached the O-line, the D-line. He was a defensive coordinator, and he kept us motivated. I played for Coach Mo, and then he was an assistant coach for me. And we lost him to a stroke. He's still alive, but he's in a rehab center. So that right there, overcoming that from the beginning, you know, and like I told my kids, I said, nobody cares. We're not making excuses. Nobody cares, right? We just got to go out there, next play, next play, next play. So despite the losses, we had that attitude like, we're getting better. We're getting better. We started off, it was 35-0 to E-Hall, but we moved the ball against them. We lost 35-8 against Lincoln, but we moved the ball against them. And then we were in a super shootout with
one of the
Eagle
games
too,
of the year. Yeah.
right? And we were going back and forth, and we lost 50-something to 40-something. And to me, that was a problem. The problem with us last season was our defense.
Yeah.
You know, but that was I expected that. You know what I mean? Because of the kids that we had, and we had to bring in a whole new group. You know, we were young last year. So, but we stuck together, we grinded through, and we showed a lot of grit, and we eventually made the playoffs, which was exciting. You know.
And let's just get right into that playoff game.
Yeah.
Out of, you know, you have quarterfinals, semifinals, championships. I mean, that was one of the most exciting games of the whole entire PSAL playoffs. You know, at the time I was covering the Eagle Curtis game.
Yeah.
And I'm in the chat.
That was a good game too. That was a good game too.
They're giving me updates. JFK's up this. JFK's up.
Yeah.
Lincoln's coming back. I was like, I'm trying to commentate. I'm like, yo, I'm about to turn the game on my side here. This is crazy.
Yeah.
You know, you guys end up falling short. You know, 36-30.
We were winning 36-30.
And I was just gonna say, that you guys were up a touchdown going into that fourth quarter.
Yeah.
And you know, that's where the game kind of slipped away from you. So, describe what it was like coaching in a game like that. And of course, this player has his own segment. But I came back and saw the performance of Jeremiah Sinat and of course Derek Patansis. But you know, just to read off Jeremiah's numbers, you know, 10 for 20, 50%, 148 and 2 touchdowns. That's passing.
Yeah.
To be clear, passing.
Right. So that game, man, like I thought we had a chance. I thought we were gonna pull it out. I really did. Sincerely, I really thought we had the game. We could win that game. And the kids believed. Forget about it. I believe we could win every game.
Yeah.
But the kids believed they could win that game. And unfortunately, you know, what our Achilles heel the entire season was our defense. And everybody moved the ball against us. Everybody had good games against us last season moving the ball. But what the win team does, it keeps the ball away from the opponent. But because we scored so fast in that game against Lincoln, they were getting the ball back. And then eventually, you know, they made a couple of big plays on special teams, and they pulled it off. Shout out to Josiah Buford in that game.
Yes.
Because Josiah Buford was a dog in that game, and he had to play both sides of the ball. And we were playing a lot of guys on defense out of position in that game because of injuries and different reasons, right? But at the end, no excuses. Nobody cares, right? Shout out to Lincoln because they played a great game. Christian Boyer had a great game. McConaughey had a great game, you know. And up front, Lincoln is always solid.
Yeah.
You know, and they're well coached, and they showed their pedigree, and they came back and they won. So, it was an exciting game. It was a tough loss. I thought we were gonna pull it out, but it just wasn't meant to be.
What's the conversation like after the game? Because, you know, I'm sure it was really disappointing, especially like going into that fourth quarter. You guys, I'm sure you guys were like, yo, we got this. We're about to shock the city, this and that, and it doesn't end up that way. And it's almost kind of like a similar story to 2 seasons ago, I guess now, against Tottenville, where you guys came out and played an excellent half. You know,
we were right there with Tottenville too a few years ago. But again, what happens in those games is that, like I said, we have kids that second year, third year playing football, right? They haven't been in those situations.
And the tension is just,
they haven't been, and they're kids, they're teenagers, right? They're human beings, they're teenagers, they're teenage boys. And sometimes, you know, things happen. You know, when we come back to the school every season, whenever we lose, or if we win a championship, even when the years that we win championship games here, we come back to the school, we take our last lap. Seen us take their last lap. They walk the track and they reflect on the season and what they did and the times, the good times, and then we clap for them. We'll sing our fight song on the 50-yard line, and then we'll talk to the team, right? So one of the things that we do is that we focus on the positives of the season and the positives of the game and what we need to do moving forward to try to motivate them and spark them into the off season so that they work on those things that they need to work on in order for us to not suffer the same fate the following season. So I believe like that game, despite us losing, it gave us a lot of confidence because they saw that for 3 quarters we were right there, and then it just, like I said, it just kids, man. It happens.
Yeah, absolutely. And this player, Derek Patansis.
Oh yeah, that's my boy.
Hold on. I'd like to apologize to Derek Patansis for any time I called you Nino, okay? The explanation is there is a young man that I've known for 4 to 5 years. His name was Nino Patansis. Derek, I love you.
Derek,
the way the first team, we do our first team, second team.
Right.
I voted for you first team 2 years. All right,
That's right.
Derek? So you my
That's
dog.
right.
All right?
That's right. That's right.
I had to clear that up.
Oh, man.
Derek's talking about this guy. Come on.
Derek, man. Derek. What can I say, man? I'm at a loss for words for Derek. Derek, one of those guys, he played 1 year of youth football. He was a small guy. 1 year of youth football. He was a baseball player. And he went out and played football on a whim because he wanted to go play with his friends. Was really a baseball player. And then he came to Kennedy, and we noticed that he was just, even though he was small in size, he never got hurt. Like, he get hit, and he just pop up and just go, and then his competitiveness came out of him. And then he was never intimidated by any opponent or anybody we played. Derek was Derek, regardless of who we played. Derek played. I could bank that Derek was going to be he was going to be himself every game, And he led us last season. Those losses, he's one of the guys that spoke up amongst the players and kept helped us, the coaching staff, keep the entire team focused at the task at hand and winning the next game or whatever. And he's gonna be missed, man. He's a dude. He got a full ride to Hobart University. You know what I mean? And he's gonna play. He was a number 1 recruit. Unfortunately, he should have been All City, but he came along at a time when you had Tyshawn Bent, Amir Morrow, and Corey Brown. So he was always like number 4 for the All City voting or whatever. But Derek is a guy, man. Like he's gonna do well at Hobart. Football wise, educational, educationally he's gonna be fine. And I look forward to seeing what Derek does in the future, man, because he's one of those guys that I really root for and that I love, and I can't wait to see what he does when years down the road.
I think a true sign of how good a player is during our podcast on Monday, anytime we come to the JFK section, there would always be an opposing player who would come and say, yo, that dude number 8 on JFK.
Yeah, man.
They said, yo, that guy. Me watching him, I've watched a lot of games of Derek.
Yeah.
I mean, his speed, once he gets the edge, but not only just the speed when he gets on the reverse. I don't know what you guys call the reverse. It's called the Patansis at this point, right?
Hey, listen.
But, his vision, the toughness, just like you said.
He's tough,
wow.
Man. He's tough, man. And that's the thing that stands out. Usually speed guys are speed guys. It's just Derek will run between the tackles too. He run up in there, and run hard and get hit and just get up, twist, turn. And sometimes he fumbled the ball, but I live with those because he was giving me everything he had. And every single time that he stepped on the field, he left it out on the field. Everything. Cool. And he has nothing to be ashamed. Like I told him, I said, when we got back to the school after that Lincoln game, and he was he was upset, he was in tears. I told him, you got nothing to be ashamed of, my boy. Like, you gave this program and us your blood, sweat, and tears for 4 years. And I could never repay him for that. So, Derek, my guy.
Absolutely, man. Yep. Another player that, is going to pick up the mantle for him. And it's funny how sports work in general, right? So, Jeremiah Sanat.
Yeah.
He comes in. I remember I was taking pictures 2 years ago at the APR game.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And he's a freshman.
Yeah.
Right?
Nice video. Yep.
Baby face, not a hair on his chin.
Yep.
Right? Okay, this kid, freshman starting quarterback for John F. Kennedy.
That's right.
What was the last time? Do you remember? What was the last time this like
Never happened. It's the first time in
Never
program
happened.
First time in program history we had a ninth grader start a quarterback, a freshman. So the reason why Jeremiah became a starter as a ninth grader is because after the 2023 season, we didn't have a returning quarterback per se. We had a kid that we wanted to plug into a quarterback, but he wasn't coming to the offseason training the way I would like. We knew about Jeremiah because he played for the Bronx Knights youth organization. But at the time, they were telling me that he was going to go to Hayes and they were going to make him a defensive end. And I said, call his dad. Call his dad. Let's meet and let's talk because he could come in. He got a chance to start as a ninth grader for us because we don't have anybody to play quarterback. So there was a lot of uncertainty at that position. I was going to play Derek Patansis at quarterback. If Jeremiah didn't come, we were going to play Derek at quarterback.
Wow.
And so he came. We met in my office, and I told him I made a deal with him. I said, listen, if you're able to come. If you give us 3 days a week where you leave your middle school and you come to Kennedy and you work out with us and you learn our offense, I promise you're going to get an opportunity. I didn't tell him you're going to be the starter, but you will get a chance to compete for the starting spot on varsity, not JV. And his eyes lit up and he has this big smile and his dad was like, yeah, let's do it. And then instead of 3 days, he came 5 days a week.
Wow.
He came 5 days a week. And he was a beast in the weight room, as a ninth grader. At the time when we played APR, he had not had 1 day of high school yet.
Hey, sure, right? Yeah.
And he came in and by the time he finished his that summer, he was at about a 375 squat, a 225 bench.
As a fresh,
as a 14-year-old, you know what I mean? And the kid was a sponge, and he learned and he learned and he learned, and he's tough. He's very tough, and he's mentally tough, which is the most important thing. He's a mentally tough kid, and that's why he was able to play quarterback at a high level as a ninth grader. And now here we are. He's going into his junior year now, third year as a starter. We're looking forward to him taking the next step now because I feel like he should be like a coach now. You know what I mean? Like he knows the offense in and out now. The wing team is very, very detailed, very, very complex for the quarterback. Very complex. It's very hard for the quarterback. They got to remember motions, snaps, formations, and then certain steps they got to take on certain plays. And Jerry is at that point now where he knows everything. Now I just need him to be more, more of a dog in these games. When we get into these games with like a Lincoln or whatever, like, let's go. It's time to show what you got, buddy.
And what I think is so amazing, honestly, just as I'm talking about remembering taking pictures of him as a freshman, it's like overnight you go from the young quarterback to now you're the most seasoned quarterback in the entire league.
Yeah.
No other team has
a three-year starter.
Yeah.
He knows that. He knows that. And he knows the expectations, and he's ready to get going in the season. So I'm excited to see what Jeremiah Sanat does this season for us. Absolutely.
Especially when I was watching, some of the games. I think it was in the Lincoln game.
Yeah.
I see you guys go 5 wide shotgun. It wasn't 5 wide.
It wasn't 5 wide. That ain't gonna happen, bro. We're not running empty, bro. It's not gonna happen.
Listen, but we did. I saw you guys in shotgun, I saw Jeremiah throw a strike.
Right.
Touchdown.
We had done that before. It depends on the floor of the game, right? Like in that game, I felt like we needed to throw the ball more to stay competitive in that game. Because the first time we played, we moved the ball. We ran the ball well, but we didn't throw the ball well. And that was mostly because of Lincoln. Kudos to Lincoln. But also, we left a lot of plays on the field, and we felt that we could have scored passing-wise, and we didn't execute. So that's the advantage of playing a team twice. Now, the second time you see them, we knew where the guys were going to be, and Jeremiah executed the plays, and we were able to be more balanced. So we had, I believe we were like 170 on the ground and like 140. What was it?
Yeah, 148.
148 in the air. You know,
Yes.
it was balanced. So, and that was all because Jeremiah executed, and we were able to take advantage of those matchups that we had on the edge.
I'm pretty sure it was a throw in that game where he had a player hanging off him and he threw it about 40, 50 yards for a
That's
touchdown.
Jerry. Jerry's built like a linebacker. This year, his weight room numbers, I mean, he's one of the strongest kids on the team as a quarterback, as a junior. Like he's deadlifting 500 pounds. He can squat over 400 pounds. He can bench close to 300 pounds. He's at 290 on the bench now, and he's just I mean, you see him, he's just a solid kid, you know. So he's strong. He's been strong like that since he was a freshman. When he was a freshman, he was out here running people over. First game, you know, running people over.
Right.
He runs people. He ran people over last year. You know what I mean? Like he's a strong kid, and you know, you got to hit him to get him down. Like you're not gonna arm tackle Jeremiah Sanat. You better, you know, you got to hit him.
And how important is it for the team, you know, having your leader being such a dog in the weight room? Because I'm sure he's not there just by genetics. I'm sure he's in the weight room.
No, he's in the weight room.
Day.
No. So that's one of like going back to his ninth grade. The reason why he became a starter is because of his work ethic. He has a great work ethic. That's kudos to his parents for instilling that in him. You know, and then he's inherently motivated to do these things. You know what I mean? Like I don't have to worry about where's Jeremiah when we have weight room. He's in the weight room. When we have practice, Jeremiah's here. And the days that he's not here is a good reason why he's not here. You know, a few years ago, he missed the game. I don't know, the game we played against Eagle, his freshman year. He didn't play in that game because, unfortunately, his grandfather passed away.
Yes.
So he had to go to Florida. So
you guys won that game still.
But we won the game without Jeremiah. But I remember in the Sage Media broadcast, the guy kept calling the kid that we had starting at quarterback Jeremiah Sanat. But that's not, you know what I mean? Like, that's the only game that he's missed. And that was because of a death in the family. And that's what I was getting at. Like, he's that committed and he's that, you know, focused. And it's like you said, it's good to have your leader be the guy, a guy that shows that type of work ethic. You know, we're still working through some things. He's still young. He's a young kid, you know, still a teenager. So there's little things here and there, but overall, like, Jeremiah's solid. And I mean, like I said, I'm excited to see what he does this season coming up.
No, I'm super excited for him. You know, I think I'm really looking for him to take the next step, and I'm sure he will.
Yeah.
So, you know, we already kind of touched on it. And I kind of have the reason, but we got to go over it again.
Yeah.
You know, you guys didn't have any problems scoring. You know,
no, not at all.
It was a struggle on defense, especially at this level.
Yeah.
You know, you got these teams there, you know, you have an arm tackle, you have a misalignment, they're going to kill you. So,
and literally that's what happened.
How you don't have to reveal all your secrets, but you know, how do you address that?
Great question. So, here at Kennedy, going back to our roster, 75% never play football. Second or third year playing football. Excuse me. We develop our kids, right? So So one of the things that we've done this year is go back to square one. So years ago, many moons ago, we used to have a program here called the Junior Player Development Program, and we also had the High School Player Development Program through the NFL, sponsored by the NFL. So we were the first site in the whole country. We were the first site here, the John F. Kennedy High School. So I went back and I'm like, you know, we need to start teaching some of those basic fundamental tackling drills. You know, going back to, you know, because we gotten away from those tackling drills. We've been doing like the hawk tackling and all that good stuff. And this year, you know, we're gonna go back a little old school and see what happens. I like our chances, you know, and we'll see if it pays dividends when we play, you know, this season, 2026.
Absolutely. We were some nights you feel like are kind of under the radar. Deserve a little more
team, but my whole team, but it's okay. I mean, I like that. I like that we're under the radar. But let's start with the O line, because I have my tight end and all 5 linemen are returning.
Oh,
all 5.
Oh, I think that's big.
My tight end. So my tight end, Arbor Rexa. Arbor Rex is a guy under the radar. My right tackle, Edwin Ariola, 3-year starter, is a guy. My right guard, Thomas Ray, is a guy. My center, Ali Sankara, is a guy. My left guard, Grayson Watson, started last year as a sophomore, is a guy. And my left tackle, Jeremy Concepcion, should be a D1 guy, but you know, we're under the radar here. But he's a guy that should be on everybody's radar. So those guys plus my tight end are back. My running back, my main running back, Amadou Samake.
Oh,
Amadou Samake is a guy. He's a top 3 player in the city, but he's under the radar. You know, he's under the radar.
Jared Paluzzi does love Amadou. Just want to say that. Shout out to Jared.
I'm just saying, this is Amadou's This is gonna be Amadou's 3rd year playing organized football this year right now. 3rd year playing organized football, and Amadou doesn't even know how good he is. He doesn't even know how good he is. He's just scratching the surface. He's a gem, and you know. And over the years, the kids that we've gotten into Power 5 schools out of Kennedy have been guys not recent, because in the past we were a powerhouse, and we would get all the schools coming through here to recruit. But recently we have Umar Diomande that's at Colorado State. He was a diamond in the rough, similar to Amadou Samake.
Was that the linebacker, number one?
Number one.
Yeah, I remember him.
Yeah, so he got a scholarship to UConn.
Yes, and he started at UConn. All right.
And then when Jim Moore left to Colorado State, he took Umar with him. And now he's got a nice NIL deal. I'm jealous. You know what I mean? But I'm so happy.
Him play out there, dude.
And he's in the game. He's in the EA Sport. He's in the game. And he's got, I believe he's got the highest rating out of anybody out of New York City that's playing in the Power 5s right now, Umar. More so than the guys that went to Iona Prep and went to Hayes and went to EUO and all that. Umar Diomande, check it out. I mean, just take my word for it. Look it up. Right? But back to Amadou. Amadou is the same type of kid. Amadou is, nobody's looking for him. Nobody's checking for him, you know? And Amadou is one of those guys. And then I have Seydou Ba. Seydou Ba played corner last year for us. He had a pick in that Lincoln game. Okay. And then there's other young guys that are coming up from the JV, that one of them played in the game last season, you know, returned a kick. You know, he could be a guy that was CJ's best friend.
Was he a freshman last year?
He was a sophomore last year.
Sophomore. Okay. I know a freshman got play too.
Yeah. So the freshman, Elias Medina.
Yes.
Elias Medina, he started as a freshman for us a few games, and he's back. And we got guys. We have Ryan Espinal. We have Alex Mel Cruz. Those are all starters that played last year. We had Avery. Oh my God, Avery's gonna kill me. We got Avery. Right? We got Avery, my linebacker. Amazing kid. You know, played for us last season, and he's back. So you know, we got guys. So I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to the season. See how they develop through it.
How will you talk about your staff and how they contribute to your success?
Everything, man. You're nothing without your assistant coaches, right? So I'm fortunate. I have a lot of good coaches, and we develop our kids. Like I said, like that's our emphasis. That's what we do well at Kennedy. We take a kid that never played football and we turn them into what you see against these guys, and that's all credit to my staff. So I have Ozzie Garcia that played here, was an all-city linebacker. I have Michael Washington that played with Ozzie. I have Chauncey Murray that played for me at Clinton. Okay, we have Ellis Williams. I don't know, are you up in your hip-hop? You know what Ellis Williams is? You ever heard of the African Bombada and the Soul Sonic Force?
Yes, I have.
Okay, so Ellis Williams is Mr. Biggs from the Soul Sonic Force.
Really?
Yes, Planet Rock. He's on my staff. He's one of my D-line coaches. You know that? Boogie Down Bronx, baby. What you think?
Easy.
Yeah, he's one of my D-line coaches. We have Howard Langley, that used to be the head coach at Clinton. He's on our staff. Okay. We have Fred Keynes, who was also a Kennedy alum. He's been a JV coach this year. He's stepping up. He's going to be the O-line coach on the varsity team. Okay. And I have Raphael Richardson, who used to be one of our coaches in the past, and now he's coming up. We have Sharif Braithwaite. He played for Coach Ozzie when he was at Lehman. He's the coach at Lehman. So we got a good mix of older guys and young guys on the staff, and I believe that it works. It works well, and the kids respond to our coaching, and they listen, and it gives us a chance to compete year in and year out, and stay in the 4A.
Stay in the forest.
Stay in the forest.
And that shouldn't be understated. Like, seriously.
No, I mean, like, listen, I'm blessed that we are where we are, and that we're able to, like I said, like, we have a lot of pride in our program. And as an alum, one of the main things that the reason why I came back to coaching was because I wanted to make sure that our program stayed in high, at a high level, and we're not where we want to be. Don't get me wrong. We got ways to go. We're nowhere near what an E-Hall is or what a Tottenham. But we're striving. We're working. We're working.
Absolutely. How about you just talk about, what it's like to be a student at John F. Kennedy, and, what John F. Kennedy has to offer the student body as a whole?
Absolutely. So we have 7 schools in the building. We have 2 charter schools. The 2 charter schools are excellent. We have Marble Hill High School, which is a public school, A-rated school in the country, excellent academics, very, very selective in who gets into that school. And then we have Bronx Theater High School, which is, if you're into theater and you want to be an actor, you want to go into sound and lighting and things like that, you can go to that school. You have Bronx Law and Finance. If you're into the stock market, you want to make money, you want to learn how to trade, day trade, or you want to go pursue a law degree down the line, that's a school for you. And then you have Bronx Engineering and Technology Academy, which is basically robotics, engineering, also some finance stuff in there. And that's pretty much it. Like, if you come here, there's something for you.
Yeah, sounds.
And there's a lot of excellent programs, a lot of college programs that kids, they do college now, and they're able to take college classes while they're in high school, earn college credits. We have all that stuff available here, and then we have excellent athletics. You have a basketball team, football team, baseball team, track, girls, flag. We got all kinds of stuff going on here. So it's an exciting time at John F. Kennedy, guys. Absolutely. On the campus, I should say.
Of course, man.
Yeah.
Listen, last question. JFK, as long as I've known you guys have been in the top division, you've been in the quarterfinals, knocking on the door of a semifinal. Coming into this year, again, you have one of the most seasoned quarterbacks in the entire league.
Yep.
What does success look like for John F. Kennedy in 2026?
1-0 every week, man. That's it. We just trying to go 1-0. At the end of it, the result will take care of itself at the end of the year, right? As long as my kids get better every week, and we're able to compete at a very high level, I believe that we'll go farther this year than we did last year. I fully expect us to go farther, but like I said, it's all about the mindset, the work that we put in. I could talk about it, but at the end of the day, you got to show and prove on the field. So, we'll see in November. We'll see where we're at.
Coach, step by step, trying to beat the allegations,
Thank
man.
you, brother. Thank you for coming to the Bronx, huh? Let's go.
Yeah, guys, this is my first time in the Bronx. Documentation on the internet. I've been in the Bronx before. Listen, guys, really appreciate you guys. This is episode 2. Tune into the next episode. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. See you next time. All right, that's a cut.
Right.
Oh, wow, this has been hanging out this whole time?
Nah.
Hopefully nobody saw.
It's all good.
Woo! That was a great conversation, man.
Yeah,
man, oh, man. Question.
Yep.
Are you going to get in any trouble with the talk about Jeremiah being in your office and stuff like that? Should I cut